So the reason, kind of the initial thing I wanted to talk about was the Fight the Power 2020 performance at the BET Awards. We all got a chance to see it. It was Public Enemy featuring YG, Nas, Jaheed, Black Thought of the Roots, and Rhapsody. From each one of you, I want to hear what was your initial reaction when you saw Fight the Power 2020?
I was scared because I don't like remakes. I don't like remakes and remixes. That I don't like. And for me, that initial Fight the Power, that initial song, that's groundbreaking for me. That's right. I think I was just graduating high school. That was for me, that was my anthem. So when I saw it, I had already heard the new track, State of the Union. So I was cool with that. And I was worried because I was like, they just rebooting the Fight the Power. What are we doing? And then I heard it. And I also saw YG was on there. I was like, what? You gotta, I had word, but then I heard it. Man, when I tell you, I'm just, man, and the playlist back to back. I play the original and the new one back to back. I run them together because it's there for me. I was so happy it was done right. It was done with respect to the original, with the same kind of energy, and it was the same. They nailed it. And it's really hard to take a classic and redo it and nail it, but they nailed it for me. That's why I was at with it. I was scared, and then I was like beyond happy. Man.
They definitely didn't change it up much. That's for sure. Yeah, I mean, it was the same structure, the same chorus, obviously. Anything I was kind of looking for a little more of an update. You know what I mean? Like just a slightly, even for the video was also very throwback. You know what I mean? Which I get. I mean, they're sticking to their brand, but.
And not to cut you off, but they were probably limited to the fact because of the COVID. It's not like you could get 1,000 extras and put them in the street. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. It's a solid follow up. I was struck by how, well, first off, you still need this fucking song, right? It's right. Like, 20 years later or whatever the fuck, and it's just like, it's the same, we still need the same fucking song, right. And it's not, if anything, what also struck me was how old the average rapper was. You know what I mean? It's like, there's not a lot of young dudes that really have the gravitas, and frankly, where was Kendrick? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. There's kind of like, I mean, I thought YG's verse was one of the better ones, frankly. But it was like, where's Kendrick? Where's Talib? You know what I mean? Like,
where's J. Cole? I had a list. Yeah.
Right. There's not that I thought Rhapsody came off. I mean, but it's at the same time, like, it's too big of a platform. You know what I mean? Where you don't have more of a murderer's row of, just like, I don't know. That would be my one critique. And also, like, I kind of wanted more from Nas. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I thought the verse was like, in many ways, like, it wasn't his strongest verse.
Right. You know what? Before you go, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
Specifically on that. Nas is my favorite rapper of all time. It's probably between him and Fonte, but I think it's probably.
I knew he was gonna say that.
Nas, Fonte, or Rakim, one of those three. I think this is probably one of the least verses I've ever heard from Nas. Right. Like I've heard verses from Nas, where I'm just like, wow, wow. I didn't get that from this. And I like him, and I'm a Nas fan.
Nas let Nas down. Nas let Nas down.
Right. Exactly right. But anyway, I'm sorry. Anton, Kia, Vinci, what do you think, brother?
I like how we slide. I like to slide in a little North Carolina thing. You mentioned Fonte. I'm glad Rhapsody was on the track. North Carolina in the house always. I think about saying we're all older. I can tell we're all fans, but we're all older now. And the backpack side of me, we growing up, we're like, man, nobody can't do that. But being 2020 and we need that message to really carry over, and that so the youth can feel maybe a little bit of what we felt when we first heard that track, you know. And I think that's much needed. Like Demetrius said, that's much needed. I think y'all both touched on that. It's good to have that. The reboot, we need it. You know what I mean? So they can have their version of it and carry it over. Even though like Nas on there, like I agree with you. I would expect Nas to come a little harder and represent and show that you a true OG. So I was like, come on, Nas, you can't ride off the name, and we still gotta put some content into them lyrics, man. But you know, overall though, I'm happy it was done.
My next bullet point was, and I think we've kind of already started on that, but who do you think came the hardest on the track? I'm seeing thinking in three different.
Yes.
I'm seeing three different set of gears turning in the head right now.
It is.
See, here's my problem. Here's why I'm thinking, because the person who I think came hardest on the track it's not hard for that person because it was expected for me. When I see Black Thought get a microphone, I expect him to leave it destroyed. That's expectation. So if I'm looking at it like I hadn't heard of any of them before, I would tell you I thought Black Thought killed it. But of course he did. He did what Nas was supposed to do. He did the expected. But then if I'm looking otherwise, I've said it, I've seen it on Facebook and I've said it, but it just might be because there's a level of unexpected from it. Rhapsody destroyed it. She put it down for every female rapper that's doing it. I mean, if you make your money and you hustling and you selling whatever you selling, that's fine. But what she did was say it was a harken back, as much as the song was, to a time when female MCs was MCs.
Right.
And we hit you with a 16 that you wasn't ready for. So that's what my thinking is, that Rhapsody killed it, Black Stars killed it. One I expected to, one I was pleasantly surprised to see.
I definitely agree. I was not expecting Rhapsody to kill it like she did. I mean, I went back and read her lyrics, and they're definitely like the comparison to the Wendy's, you know, how a black man's life is a Wendy's, you know, extra value meal. It's like, you know, that's some heavy shit. And the other person I really didn't expect to think much of their verse, but I wound up going back and listening to that verse more is YG. Well, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a huge YG fan. You know, the whole
Take Lil Bang.
yeah, blood shit. I mean, whatever. It's, you know, I get that he gets a lot of love, but you know, it did make me want to. I started listening to more of his stuff after listening to it. You know, like, okay, yeah, dude is, you know, he's thinking about shit. And as far as the Black Thought lyric, I mean, I agree it was, you know, much stronger than Nas, but also it was one of those things where, you know, I guess I kind of wanted him to be a little harder. But I mean, it's still, like you said, classic Black Thought. You know what I mean? Like, he definitely repped the brand, you know, well. But yeah, I mean, I was kind of shocked that the two that I was most impressed with were definitely Rhapsody and YG.
I 100% agree with Demetrius. I think we're all kind of in some sort of agreement. Black Thought wrecking Crane. That's, I mean, when he's on the track, it's to be expected now. That's his baseline. He's gonna kill it if he's there, you know. And then, you know, if I say Rhapsody, I want to say it without being biased, because North Carolina, no Rhapsody, she's killing it. She's killing it. I'm all thinking North Carolina and Chicago. How, you know, that's crazy, right? But yeah, I was like, whoa, you represented really hard, you know. So I'm in agreement with those two. Yeah, Rhapsody, surprise, not surprise. Black Thought, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do, you know. Okay. So yeah.
My initial, when I heard it, I went crazy over Rhapsody. I thought she killed it. And, you know, part of it for me is, and I know this is me. One of the things I do is I kind of adopt we're underrated rappers. Like when you're underrated, I adopt you and I root for you. I did it with Fonte. I did it with Sky Zoo. I've done it with Rhapsody. I've done it with G Gray. Like people hear me talk. I've done it with Rashid Adi. I've done it with D-Jack. Like I've done it with people because I want to see them succeed on kind of a more wide scale. So when I saw Rhapsody on BET, I was already hyped. And then her verse was dope, as it always is, as Layla's Wisdom was, as Eve was. So I wasn't necessarily surprised. I mean, I guess my thing is, yeah, Black Thought is dope, but Black Thought's always dope, and everyone knows Black Thought is dope. So I guess for me, it was Rhapsody, but that's only because Rhapsody is one of my adopted rappers, and I just it extends into my parentage of adopted rappers, if that makes sense.
Okay.
You know it does, but tying to that, I go back roots to what they do to stage and Black Thought's verse on Big Pun's album, highly underrated. If we gonna kill it, that one. Black Thought was that person that people didn't know was hard. He was that one that people who weren't into listening to real hip hop didn't know Black Thought. He was the guy who rapped with the Roots, with the guy with the big afro, played the drums. Everybody knew that from him. Did not know that he was as brilliant as he is. I don't know if it's being on late night TV. If you have heard it more, you looked into it. It had the freestyle verse that kind of made its way through the internet, where he was like, 20 minutes of just like straight bringing it, just straight fire to people. But even with that, a lot of people were like, wow, like they didn't know. And I was like, yeah, you've been doing that for about 10 minutes. Yeah, been doing that for a minute. Yeah. So I kind of feel like your thoughts of Rhapsody, and I concur, I hear that. I kind of feel like that was Black Thought at one time. Mm-hmm. He didn't have the big super album like Nas.
Platform yet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, and I don't mean to cut you off, brother, but I think every rapper goes through that. Like, there was a point Nas was on Back to the Grill Again and Live at the Barbecue, and everyone was like, yo, who's Nas? Who's this dude Nas? You know what I'm saying? So like,
but one album, then all of a sudden we knew Nas now. The first album, now we knew who Nas was. So I agree with that. I mean, because you can go back in this time, you heard Kendrick, and people heard J. Cole, and even people heard Lupe Fiasco. We rep in our hometowns, so we rep Chicago right away. People heard Lupe.
Okay.
And when he was doing stuff on Cayenne, doing stuff people didn't hear. But by the time that first album came out, they were blown. Black Thought, the Roots have had 3, 4, 5, 6 albums before people knew. Rhapsody has had numerous, albums, like full-fledged releases.
Right.
People don't know who they are. So when you can make 1 or 2 and people still not know you, except for those who know. Like, I think most people in hip-hop circles know Rhapsody is that.
Right.
I think that they know she's that chick. I think, so they know. But it was like you say, seeing on BET was, she had that platform. Like you said, that platform that a lot of people hadn't seen it before. And she didn't waste it.
No.
She didn't waste the platform. She showed out.
But, what's funny, Demetrius, that you say that, and I think that speaks to kind of the state of hip-hop and its platforms. Like, even back in the 90s, like when we were teenagers, even though like we didn't have cable in my house until I went to college. My parents didn't get cable in the house till like 1995, 96. But there were still outlets to hear underground rap. There was The Box. Do y'all remember The Box? There was The Box. There was
HBK.
I heard the first rap song that I loved and would listen to all the time was DWIT by Gangstar Nice and Smooth. And I heard that on Jay Phil show on HBK, probably in 91, 92. You know what I'm saying? That's the University of Chicago, but still, they were authentic hip-hop.
If you were late 80s in Chicago and the weather was clear on the south side, you get KKC. You get Pink House and KKC.
Okay.
And again, if it was stormy and raining, you wasn't getting King College radio. But on a clear day on the south side, and Pink House played that stuff you never heard. Never heard. He played that stuff again. I think about it, I had that song like Duet that I heard for the first time. Something like, wasn't 3 months before it was on regular radio. Ain't No Future in Your Front. That was on KKC like before. Breathe. The microphone. Yeah. Yes. That was. And if you stayed up late on WGCI Chicago, like 1 o'clock in the morning, they had a hip hop show.
Dude, I was an intern on that show. When I interned at GCI, I was like the daytime music intern. And they came to me and they said, Kevin, how would you like to? You could get paid. Now I wasn't making any money interning, but they were like, you can make $13 an hour. Interning for the Spank Buddha show Saturday nights on GCI, and I did that for a summer. But like
that's the second version of that show, though. Spank Buddha was the reincarnation of that show.
Right.
I'm going back to the freaking Puerto Rican used to do it, right. The guy you were with him, I can't think of his name. They had the show. That was the only time they could get on the radio. Now they mainstream now, and I remember when Spank Buddha came in. So you was with that one. That was that, yeah. Yeah,
that was like late '90s. But it just seems like even though there are more platforms and venues for like underground conscious music to get out, it seems like less of it is getting out. I mean, Key, in your experiences, what are the main platforms to get that kind of music out? I mean, you're kind of the most immersed into kind of hip hop production. So I want to get your opinion on that.
Man, it's like I feel like I'm just getting back in again because I feel like I took a hiatus when my son was born. If I stepped away, and I was just like,
what kind of excuse
I wasn't involved.
Your son is born, but you got this music to put out, bro.
Yeah, I mean, currently, right now, man, most of the people who I holler at is on Instagram. I'm like, I'm surprised at how much response I get on Instagram, just in general. Right now, you throw somebody, everybody be like, "Oh, that's dope." You reach people real fast. I mean, you thinking like we all think about music from the 80s and 90s. We would have never dreamed of the stuff that we have access to now. I want to touch on something real quick too.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
I was see, I grew up in the country. I say like South North Carolina, the countryside. Like I had to tell you like how I got my hip hop mixtapes. Late night radio, of course, they would throw some gems on there every now and then. Now, here's what's gonna really blow your mind. There used to be a service that would mail music videos on VHS. I don't know if y'all know about that. Did y'all know about that?
Yes.
I had to be innovative in the country.
Nice.
I would get monthly videotapes of new hip hop songs. I gave them away a long time ago. 93 Till Infinity. I had that shit on videotape.
I got a case of VHS in the room right here. Dude, I did Area 309 was a music video show for years. I put this on Instagram when I moved in. I got a 3/4 inch tape of oh my goodness. I got Most Def, Miss Fat Booty. I got Cher Shaylock Ghost. I got the dude. Yeah. I know. I get it. Yeah. Big Mike player. I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
Now that's the struggles. Say the youngers won't know about that struggle and they won't never have to. That's good because we did what we had to do, rewinding tapes and fixing VCRs and cassette decks. Right. But I rock the vinyl always. But yeah, good thing they ain't gotta know about all that stuff. Look, I take it even one step further because I told my wife that she looked at me like I was crazy. Y'all know that some houses in the South had antennas on top of the TV, and we had a control in the house. We had to turn it, and it would rotate to wherever we were trying to pick up a signal from. Like Charlotte, North Carolina had the best signals coming like for Fox News and all these little other station 21 was a hard station to get. You had to turn the thing to the west And if it wasn't facing the west, you could not get that station. Man, I mean, it was a struggle growing up.
Humble beginnings, bro. Humble beginnings.
It was a struggle.
I mean, just to contrast that with now, where we're drinking from a fire hose.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like, I mean, you ask why so much of the conscious content, doesn't rise to the surface. It's because it's, there's so much of the other shit that's coming out that it's, how it's you're competing with a lot of static.
Yep.
Right. And it's just, like we were talking about earlier, how these platforms really don't want to do the uplifting kind of stuff because frankly the listeners don't want to think. They want to have a good time. They want to kick it.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, KRS-One is not a superstar, right? I mean, he is to us.
Yeah.
Right.
But he's not a superstar. Like, I mean, why wasn't KRS-One on, Fight the Power 2020? Right. Like he's, you can't get much more. He's literally a colleague of Public Enemy. But
right.
So you figure there's going to be an extended cut. Right? There's got to be an extended cut. Right?
There could be a 35-minute version.
Right. It's going to be like a 35-minute.
Or there could just be like 6 different remixes and you put 4-5 different people in each one. That's what I was waiting on, because that's what they normally do. You'll have a remix and everybody else will have a verse. Because I'm thinking, hearing that, if I'm in the game, I'm like, I want 16 on that. I want to be on that.
Right.
It's history.
For the ones that didn't make it on the cut, look, you want to get everybody on one track? Self-Destruction 2020. Everybody.
That has to be coming.
That's another one. I'll be up there. I'd be worried. Because again, that's another one that feels a classic. And I'd see a remake and I'd be like, oh, don't mess it up. Because MC Lyte's verse on that part.
Man,
because again, we got a conscious group effort song, and it's the female who might have came hardest.
Right.
Because Said You Will about self-destruction, and Chuck and Flav came hard. Kumo D actually came hard. Chris came hard. But if we break it down, MC Lyte's verse on that, to me, is beyond classic. It's the standard by which, to me, every female MC must hold.
Well,
this is your bar.
Let me say this, Demetrius. I don't mean to cut you off, but
no, you good.
Until I heard Jean Grae, MC Lyte was the greatest female MC of all time to me. Until I heard Jean Grae, and then when I heard Jean, to me, Jean is the best of all time. I've never heard a female MC make better music.
But you keep.
Rod Digger.
Both of them.
Argument with Demetrius before. Demetrius always brings up Muhammad D.
I do, but you gotta understand that she likes my future ex-wife, so it's personal there. I'm just saying, because like real talk, you put Cha 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 on right now, I'm getting off this call and going to listen to it. I'll be back in like 3 minutes and 48 seconds. I'll back.
As much as I know it's not polite to bring up her name, Lauryn Hills is still one of the best rappers.
No, L Boogie is one of the best rappers. L Boogie's one of the best rappers.
L Boogie,
right. I got you on that, yeah.
Yeah, but
her verses are.
She's not, no, I'm not disagreeing at all. Not at all. But has she put out enough music to be put in that conversation?
I feel you, but at the same time, she has classics.
Very true.
You can't deny her contribution to the catalog.
That's like Illmatic. Like we know Nas has done some things here and there, but Illmatic always his first album still carries him a lot. Miseducation of Lauryn Hill will carry her whole career. It's powerful.
But for the hip hop version, it's her verses on the Score album that carry L Boogie.
True.
And that's really the first time I heard Rod Digger was when her and Digger got down on the Score album. and Digga and Boogie, they was going back and forth with it. L rocks the Doobie and I rock the Nubian Twist 9-6. That's the Rod Digga. That's when I got on Rod Digga. I was like, oh, it's some more fire out here, some more female fire. So and yeah, Nas, Jay told us about Nas and we just didn't listen, but he told us. It is Illmatic and then the rest is, and I know that's your favorite rapper, but
you know what? That's another discussion for another day. I'll probably bring all of you back to have that discussion, but I want to say, get back to Fight the Power. So one of the things I know we've been talking about is kind of who we would have expected or who we would have thought might be on there or not. So you are God's A&R, and you control this project from the beginning. You could take one person off and put one person on. Who would it be?
I'd take somebody off.
Take someone off and put someone on.
I mean,
the gears are spinning.
Kendrick needs to be on there. I mean, I think him and all the young kids out there, whatever, the next generation, I think it's kind of hard to see a Fight the Power without him.
But their voice, huh?
Yeah, I just feel like, to be honest, the song would have much bigger bandwidth if he was on it. You know what I mean? Like, as much as I think everyone did their thing, but it's like when Kendrick touches something, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't roll with Lil Wayne, but Weezy, when he touches something, or Drake, he touches something, it's like they have an effect that just makes it more, you might say mainstream or whatever, but I feel like Kendrick, for his voice, and just everything, he should have been on it. I don't know why it's not.
Yeah, that's if we can all just say Kendrick needs to be on it, and then answer your question.
I agree.
Who else? Because I think we're all going to window with Kendrick should be on there.
Kendrick
is say who else?
Right. Correct.
And if you felt the need to have an OG and keep it conscious, I'm gonna plug my city. I'd have got rid of Nas and put Common on there.
See, that's what I was low key thinking too. Like, I would almost take Nas off of it, not because Nas isn't dope, but just he doesn't need to be on it. Like, Nas is already as big as I think he'll ever be. Like, that's what I would like to see is someone get kind of catapulted to the mainstream through this. You know what I'm saying? Just like Fight the Power put Public Enemy kind of on the main, or it kind of helped them on their mainstream kind of in terms of notoriety. So I probably would take Nas off and maybe put like Sky Zoo on there. Because I don't think, there's some people that don't even know who he is. Yeah. But he's one of the dopest rappers, so I think a lot of people don't even know who he is.
You know what? You made me think of something when you said, y'all was talking about Common. It's like we just talked about, when you think of a rapper and you think about the power they hold, is it because of, like, you saying, oh, I know them from, like, when you look at Nas, are you saying, oh, you constantly doing things dope, or dang, Illmatic was dope, but like Common is still relevant. Like, lyrically, I like Common. I think he's still strong. I don't know how y'all feel about Common, but like, the thing about Nas was on there, but like, was his star power that's carrying Nas on the track? Like, okay, Nas is there. He's, like, or are we just, I don't know. I don't know, just mean like, is he riding off the star power, or we just think of him as a strong rapper that needs to be there? Like I said, dang, in that case, what you said, Kevin, Common needs to, in my feet, like you said, needs to be there more than Nas would be there, because Common has a name, but he's still lyrically strong. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm making sense.
You know what?
Make a little counterpoint.
We're talking about Nas. So let's talk about Nas for a second. One of my favorite Nas songs of all time is The Season, the one he did with Dilla. And I realized that that's one of my favorite songs because of not necessarily because of Nas's lyrics. Like, those aren't Nas's strongest lyrics. You know what I'm saying? And the reality is that Nas has had such good lyrics in the past that maybe I might give him a pass. I might personally be giving him a pass now on such good. But I'm sorry, Mike, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off, bro.
Well, one thing to add on to that, I mean, let's not forget that Illmatic had a fucking incredible list of producers on that.
Yeah.
On that.
Like,
Yes.
not much more
It
talented.
wasn't hard for him to come off on those beats. You know what I mean? Like, you hear stories about the shit that he didn't put on there, and people were still like, yeah, that shit was fire. But I mean, my problem with Common, I obviously a lot of love for Common, but I feel like it's off brand for him. I know that sounds fucked up, but he's more on that love shit, not on that like the power shit. So I mean, and also I do think Common has gone pretty damn mainstream, frankly. I mean, he doesn't need this, right, for his name recognition. I mean, I think what's more interesting is how, you know, as a bunch of Chicago heads, we're not even talking about Kanye, right? He has completely removed himself from the conversation, even though, again, like on that L Boogie shit, he's got catalog, right? He has got some incredible contributions to the culture, and you can't.
Oh, no question about it. But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, but well, again, it's like if we're talking about star power on a song like this, you know, how do you instantly update it? You know, if it's not Kendrick, it's another K name, you know, Kanye, right? And it's like, you know, it's like this could have been in some ways like his reemergence as a black man, not not a whatever Ben Carson, you know, remix or whatever the fuck he is, you know. So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a, you know, as Chicago people, we want to see representation, right? You know,
I hear that, and I even hit a part of it. I'm sorry. I even hit a part about Common kind of being on the love thing because he has moved in that direction a little bit. But if you didn't sit and watch and listen to him when he opened up the NBA All-Star game, to understand that he is still coming Rashid Lynn from the South Side, if you didn't hit that, because he wasn't on that love there, he was on that D-Wade, D-Roll, South Side, Chicago, we here, get over it. And it was...
I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it was like that Resurrection Common. It was that Common and Black Star Common. It was back to that. And if he was gonna be that, I heard what you saying about his brand being switched and he's still doing the love thing. If he'd have been that Common and Black Star Common on this track, it would have fit.
Absolutely.
You know, but that's where again we talk about Talib or Mos and some of them being on there too. But I do understand having somebody young and bringing it. But the OGs that was on there they need to hold it down.
But the thing about Common is that Common, yes, he be on the love vibration. But every now and again he'll come with a record like Hunger. Hunger was straight battle rap, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Or some of his stuff with like Black Star, every now and again. For every Come Close, there's a Hunger. For every and we don't even need to talk about his battle with Q. You know what I'm saying? Like that can go without saying, you know what I mean?
That's dumb.
Yeah, I just feel like Common made a conscious effort to, rebrand, essentially. It was about the same time he had to go to Common instead of Common Sense, right? Kind of made, all right, let me be a little bit more accessible. And I'm not saying he's not capable of going back there. And I agree. I mean, that's how he cut his teeth. I mean, that's really, when you listen to Can I Borrow a Dollar, I mean, it's not the same guy that we're listening to now, right? It was a hungrier, angrier, frankly. He hadn't had the success. You know what I mean? He wasn't just, whatever, living the life he is now. So, but yeah, I mean, yeah, who doesn't want more common in their life.
I'm saying if you were dating Angela Rye, you'd be in a good mood too.
Right.
That's another show. We want to run down Common's hit list. That's a whole other show.
My man.
Because his hit list is phenomenal.
Right.
We who are about to die salute you, my brother. Hey, well, look, we've been on for about 50 minutes. I got one more question for everybody. I really appreciate the convo. But what I want to do is let's remove Public Enemy and Fight the Power from the conversation. Complete them, take them off the table. What are some of your favorite, your individual favorite conscious rap song of all time?
KRS-One, You Must Learn. That's so easy for me. That opened my eyes and made me open books, made me read, made me get into my Bible differently, made me read histories differently, made me look at stuff differently. So when he broke down, when KRS-One, to me, I still remember this, I actually used this in Bible school with kids. When he broke down the genealogy of Abraham to the 12 tribes of Israel. Man, Abraham was the father of Isaac. Isaac was the father of Jacob. Jacob had 12 sons for real, and these were the children of Israel. That's implanted. Yeah. So conscious rap for me, I mean, self-destruction. I even love that West Coast movement, the song they did. I thought that was all in the same. Hey, it's parts on there. Digital Underground's part, Ice-T's part on there. Certain parts is off the chain. But number one is KRS-One, You Must Learn.
De La Soul, Stakes is High.
Okay.
I still quote that song on a fairly regular basis. My favorite verse, of course, being "We all live in hoods because nobody's neighbors." And it's like, I feel like, native tongue. I would love to see a native tongue, whatever, reboot. It's like, obviously, it would look a little different, but I feel like they always were the ones that frankly elevated the conversation when everyone else was trying to just keep it to, bitches and whatever. You know what I mean? It was like, De La was native tongue, that they kind of laid the groundwork for Tribe. And, when you think about what that inspired in the culture, and how that kind of stream was always at odds with the gangsterism, the more hardcore. Obviously, we know who kind of won that war, unfortunately.
Right.
But, the resistance continued.
Yeah, man. I'm sitting here going through these songs in my head and these artists.
If you can't think of one, think of some of them that come to mind. Just to kind of spit
all the names is hitting me, like X-Clan, Poor Righteous Teachers. Even when Queen started, Queen on African, man. Oh, man.
Can I just call out Roscoe?
Oh my God! That one say the nature of the threat.
That was
my God!
I've ever heard in my life.
Yo, they can't play that to this day.
I don't think Roscoe can get on anywhere because of that shit. Like that Come Down or whatever it was. It was
even stuff that
came to my mind immediately, but I'm like, I don't know if I should.
Yeah, that was even stuff we didn't know was conscious though. Because think about early Goody Mob.
Yeah.
But is F the Police conscious? F the Police could be conscious.
Yeah, without question. Without question.
David Bull could be conscious.
Can we go to that though? The F the Police thing. I understand that is obviously some at the heart of the issue these days, right? And I don't know, it's the F the Police as much as it's not helping the conscious to say that, right? That's my feeling. It's like we have to figure out how to coexist, or whatever. It can't be a mutually exclusive scenario. Is all I'm saying. And it's like, as much as I would scream that shit at the Dilla. I'm a head, so it's like he play that shit all the time. And it's like, you know, there is if we're talking about consciousness, like it's saying fuck the police, really elevating the conscience, right?
Well,
You know,
I wonder, that's fair. I wonder if we at that time had an understanding that F the police really meant F those police,
Right.
these who are doing this. If we understood that, and maybe if that's getting lost in the
Right.
argument.
That's what, I was gonna say something similar to that. Is I think in that time that came out what, like 88? Was it 90 or 88, 89?
89, 90, right around there.
Late 80s.
Like back then,
89.
most of the country didn't realize the angst that was going on in the inner city. So, as kind of violent and as, you know, non-productive as it is to yell F the police, the fact that someone was saying it in this very public venue was conscious because it brought that reality to most of America that wasn't there. I guess I should answer, but I'm thinking a lot of the same ones you already mentioned, but like self-destruction, we're all in the same gang. Like I remember those.
Right.
You know, I took Public Enemy out, but you know, like a lot of BDP stuff. I mean, but I guess self-destruction would be. But I mean, that's kind of an easy. You know what I mean?
It's fair though, because it was good. It is easy, but it's easy because it was good. It wasn't.
Yeah.
That actually works.
Right, but I love X-Clan's intro. That to me was. We
talk about that.
State of Vainglorious as we are protected by the red, the black, and the green.
The green at the crossroads.
Yep.
Well, anything, brothers, I appreciate all of you. This has been a really good conversation. When I initially planned it, I thought it was going to be like 15 minutes. We've been talking for an hour, and I think it's been all good. So I really appreciate all you guys being a part of it. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And you put it together. It's on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.